Welcome to the Explainer. You know all those web apps you use every day for, well, pretty much everything from banking to talking with friends? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and dive into the hidden vulnerabilities that show why the web might not be nearly as safe as you think it is.
All right, let's just jump right in. Most of us operate under a basic assumption, right? That the modern web is a pretty safe place to be. I mean, we have to. We trust it with our most sensitive, most private information every single day without a second thought.
Yeah, we've all seen this, right? Messages just like this one, usually right next to that little padlock icon in our browser. It's designed to make us feel warm and fuzzy, to tell us, hey, don't worry, your data is locked down tight. And honestly, most of the time we believe it.
But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Not even close. Get this. In a recent sample of over 100 applications, a staggering 94%, almost all of them, were vulnerable to something called cross-site scripting. That's a nasty attack where a bad actor can inject their own malicious code into a website you trust, turning it against you. A number like 94%, well, it paints a very different picture, doesn't it?
And look, this isn't just a one-off problem. It is widespread and it is deep. Beyond that 94% figure, look at the other stats. 92% of apps were vulnerable to cross-site request forgery. That's a sneaky attack where a hacker basically tricks your browser into doing their dirty work for them on a site where you're already logged in. Flaws like these are literally everywhere.
So here's the real kicker. That padlock, that SSL technology, it's great for one very specific thing, stopping someone from snooping on your data while it's traveling on the highway between your computer and the server. But it does absolutely nothing to stop an attack that's aimed directly at the application's own broken code. It's like having an armored truck, but the bank at the end of the road has its doors wide open.
So to really get why our apps are so full of holes, we've got to take a step back and see just how much the web itself has fundamentally changed. It's evolved from simple pages of information into these massive, complex platforms that run our lives.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Back in the day, websites were basically digital brochures. Information just flowed one way, from them to you. The security risk was pretty low because, well, what could you really do? But today, web apps are full-on conversations with sensitive info flowing both ways. They're incredibly powerful, sure, but that makes them a much, much bigger target. I mean, just think about it. You use these things every single day for the most private parts of your life. Whether you're shopping on Amazon, checking your bank balance, posting on Facebook, or working in Google Docs, our entire lives are built on these platforms.
But here's the paradox. That very interactivity, the magic that makes these apps so useful, that's also the wide-open front door for attackers. And that brings us to what is arguably the single biggest problem in web security today.
And this all boils down to one massive core problem. You just can't trust user input. Period. A web application has to be built on the assumption that every single thing a user sends it could be malicious, because the person on the other end might not be a friendly customer. They could be an attacker, carefully crafting every keystroke to break the system.
So what can they do with that input? They can get creative. They can trick the application into doing things it was never, ever supposed to do. You know, like changing a price tag from $100 to 1 cent, or tweaking a browser cookie to completely take over someone else's account, or even submitting a query that just dumps the entire customer database.
So you might be asking, why is this still such a common problem? Why haven't we fixed this? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm. Most developers are trained to build cool features, not to think like a criminal. Every single app is custom-made, with its own unique hidden flaws. And let's be real, in the mad dash to meet deadlines, security is often the first thing that gets pushed to the back burner.
And the result of all this? It means the whole game is changed. The old rule book for digital security, we might as well just throw it out. The entire way we think about defending ourselves has been turned completely upside down.
You see, for years, we thought of security like building a fortress. You build a big, strong wall, your firewall, around your network, and you're safe inside. But with web applications being open to the public, that wall is basically irrelevant now. The security perimeter has moved. Today, the front line isn't the network firewall. It's the application code itself. An attacker's malicious data sails right past the firewall because it just looks like normal traffic from a regular user. Now, every single line of code that touches that data is a potential doorway into the entire organization.
And this is what's truly terrifying. An attacker doesn't need to be some master hacker who can bypass layers and layers of network defenses. No, a single line of bad code in a web app, something as simple as what's described here, can give them a direct, unimpeded path to a company's most precious data.
So, where does that leave us? The battleground for security is always shifting, always evolving, but those fundamental challenges we've been talking about, they're definitely sticking around.
We're seeing this really clear trend in tactics. It used to be all about attacking the server, right? Trying to crack the machine itself. But servers are getting tougher, so attackers are pivoting. Now, they exploit flaws in the application to go after the users directly, turning a website you trust into a weapon against you.
And here is maybe the most crucial point. It doesn't matter what new buzzword comes along, Web 2.0, the cloud, you name it. The timeless, classic security problems, the ones caused by simple human error, are here to stay. Things like flawed business logic or broken access controls will probably always be with us, because at the end of the day, these systems are built by people, and people make mistakes.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Think about the last application you used. Maybe you checked your bank account, or posted a photo, or sent an email. How much did you really trust it? Because in our new digital world, that trust isn't being placed in a steel bank vault. It's being placed in lines and lines of code that you will never, ever get to see.